Welcome to FLT Sports, all things sports, and week one in the NFL is underway. I know we've been holding back on some NBA and NHL, and we'll get back into that. Not this episode, next episode. I want to talk about that a little bit. But the Yankees, dude, are getting crushed, and it's so hard to watch. They just won their last game, but they're like at 500 right now, 22-20 record, something like that, something crazy.
Yeah. I did want to mention. And I just want to mention in the NHL, this is the last round before the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
So you have Dallas and the Vegas Knights.
Yep.
They play tonight, which is Saturday. We're filming.
Yep.
Dallas is up 2-1 though.
Yeah.
Which is surprising. And then you have the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Islanders.
Yeah.
And the Islanders, they were down 2-0 last night, but they won.
Yeah.
So it's 2-1 now.
Yeah.
2-1. Lightning is up. 2-1 the other way. Dallas is up on the Vegas Knights.
Yeah, so I think it might end up as Tampa Bay and Vegas. So.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. That's what I was expecting. But you never know. Dallas is up on the Knights.
Yeah, and then in the NBA, Milwaukee Bucks are out.
Yep.
The team that everybody predicted to win the East. Giannis is right now the MVP, best player in the NBA, back-to-back seasons. They're gone. He got hurt. That's what happened. So when you lose Giannis,
you lose your best player,
so,
I mean that's tough.
Yeah, and then the Lakers and Rockets. I was watching dude. I'm watching the Lakers and Rockets. I can't stand the Lakers, by the way, because of LeBron.
Yeah,
the Rockets seem like they weren't even trying. I want to get a little conspiracy for one second. They could have got paid off. That's how bad they looked, dude. Harden was not making any of his shots. He just was missing every shot. And I'm like, what is going on?
That never happens.
He's one of the best shooters of all time.
Absolutely,
dude. It was crazy, dude.
I'm with you. I want Houston to win because I can't stand LeBron.
Dude,
I think he's a flopper. He's a whiner.
Dude, the Rockets were not playing basketball. I don't know what they were doing. They were doing something else.
I'm just hoping
they were checking Instagram.
I'm just hoping it was just a bad game, off night. Well, so otherwise though, it's going to be over soon.
Yeah.
But let's so right now where we're at, it's Saturday, week one. The full slate is going to start tomorrow. So far we only know the results of Kansas City beat the Texans.
Yeah. We both predicted that. So we're both 1-0.
So we're both 1-0, and then next week we'll have the whole running total for week one, and then the Thursday night game from week two.
Right.
So let's jump into our week two picks.
Okay.
The Thursday night game is Bengals at Browns in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I have the Browns.
I do too.
Me and you'll both have the Browns.
We're just gonna agree there.
Then Sunday, September 20th, this starts off Jaguars at Titans. I think we both have the Titans.
Both have the Titans.
Panthers at Bucks. We both have the Bucks.
Both have the Bucks. Yep. So
Broncos at Steelers. I have the Steelers. Do you do
same
too?
Here.
Okay. And then next game is Rams at Eagles.
This is a big game right here.
This is going to be a very good game.
I got the Eagles.
Neil has the Eagles. I have the Rams.
So there's our first.
So that's our first
butt heads.
Yep.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk a little bit the games we disagree with.
Yeah.
The games we agree with, we're just going to skip right past them. But let's go. Let's give our reasoning. So I got the Eagles bouncing back off. What were they, 9-7 last year? Bouncing up and going back into their playoff style. The team we saw win the Super Bowl.
They won the NFC East last year, though.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a great season.
Yeah.
I think they were 9-7.
I think they were 9-7.
Yeah.
Okay, I could be wrong. But
the Cowboys though were 8-8 and missed the playoffs.
Yeah. But my thing about with the Eagles, I really do think they retained most of their key players from the team that won that Super Bowl. Carson Wentz is coming of age to be a prime first round pick player that he's supposed to be. They also added some talent on the defensive side of the ball. Darius Slay, they took him over he's an all-pro 2 years ago. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler from a horrible defense where he just stood out by himself. And he was pretty much Darius Island. And now he's going on to the Eagles, who already kind of have a good defense. They were weak in secondary, so he's going to fill that role. He's going to be that guy. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
I picked the Rams. kind of the same thing. I
Yeah.
mean, I think they're going to rebound. Last year they were 9-7, missed
Yeah.
the playoffs because they
Same
were in a
thing.
stacked NFC.
Same thing, yeah.
The NFC West, they already had the Seahawks and the 49ers were in the playoffs out of there. So they just missed the playoffs at 9-7.
Yeah.
But even more recently, the Rams were in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So,
No, I actually have a check mark here because it took me a good 5
Yeah.
minutes to pick that.
There were
game.
some games I picked right
I
away.
could've
That
flipped
was
a
the
coin.
one. Yeah.
I could've flipped a coin.
That was the one I skipped over, came back
Actually,
to.
my deciding factor was Eagles at home. Philly fans are nuts. That was my deciding factor.
Yeah,
Because
so-
other than that, I could have flipped. I could have went to the.
I don't
to
know
the
if they're
Rams.
even going to have fans, but they might have some. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's
haven't
a good
looked
question.
into
That's
that.
a good point. I forgot.
But
about that.
I ended up picking the Rams because, I mean, just like I said, I'm expecting a bounce back. Aaron Donald, arguably the best defensive player in the league. Jalen Ramsey just got a big deal.
Yeah.
And so he's happy now. That's why he wanted to get out of the Jaguars. They didn't want to pay him,
Yeah.
and then after a while, then he was just got aggravated. He's like, even if you do pay me, I don't want to be here now.
Yeah.
So they got Ramsey, they got Aaron Donald, they got a pretty stacked defense, and then their offense. I'm a fan of Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Robert Woods, I always liked, even when he was
Great
in
team.
Buffalo.
Great team.
I always told people, Buffalo fans, when he was here, I'm like, the Bills are not using Robert Woods right.
Right.
I mean, he was a great college receiver. I watched him all the time. He's
Scored
super
a touchdown in
talented.
his first game as a pro.
But they would use him as like a possession receiver.
Yeah.
We need, it's 3rd and 8, 9-yard out, and they would throw it to Woods.
Yeah. At first, he was just the guy behind Stevie Johnson, and then he became the guy behind.
But they only used him as a possession receiver. As
Right.
soon as he went to the Rams, you saw what he was truly capable of. He's doing end arounds. He's going deep. He can do everything.
Yeah.
And the Bills did not use him like
yeah,
that.
yeah, he was great at USC.
So I ended up picking the Rams. So that's our first disagreement there. Next game, Niners at Jets. I have the Niners.
Same here.
Debo Samuel is going to be out at least 3 weeks. They did just put him on IR today, but they're just still so much better than the Jets. So I mean, even with like George Kittle as their only real, true weapon, as receiver.
But the 49ers are beyond their skill position. That's where what makes the 49ers so great is their defense, their line,
Yeah.
their
coach
coaching.
is such a good offensive coordinator.
So they
He
can lose a guy in the skill position area,
Yep.
a running back or wide receiver, and it's still going to be a solid, stout team.
He's such a good Kyle Shanahan, such a good offensive play caller, such a good
Right.
schemer on offense. So
Yeah.
I'm not even worried about that. So we
Yeah.
both had the Niners. Bills at Dolphins. I have the
Bills.
Bills. You do too.
Yeah.
Next game, Vikings at Colts. I have the Vikings. Do you do too?
I do too. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was actually I
I know
was
you're
thinking about that
deciding
game,
on that one.
but I lean towards Vikings.
Next game, we have Lions at Packers. I think we both have the Packers.
Lions. I don't see really doing much this year. They could be okay, but
Yeah,
not,
I think
not against the Packers.
I
though.
think the Lions are going to be better than last year.
I think the Packers are going to come out and put up at least 11 wins this year.
But the Packers are going to be really good, and I think the Vikings are also going to be good, and they're
Yeah.
both in that same division with the
Yeah,
Lions.
yeah.
Next game, I think we disagreed here. Falcons at Cowboys. I have the Cowboys.
I got Falcons.
You have the Falcons. Okay, so it's another.
I think people are low on the Falcons this year.
Yeah,
I think they're just super.
I think from
talented.
last year because they just did so awful. I think
Yeah.
people forgot about them.
Yeah,
But
they
they're
still
a
have-
talented team.
Yeah, they're still-
absolutely. So we'll see.
Flooded with first round picks. Still have Julio Jones. Still have Matt Ryan. They still have a great defense,
I mean-
especially on the line.
Yeah, their skill
Great secondary,
their skill
too.
position players, their offensive line, Matt Ryan.
He's
That's
added
the
Todd
strength of their
Gurley,
team.
too.
Yeah,
Todd Gurley, we know his foot and his knees and whatever, his legs and injury, but he's got a great line in front of him now that's going to keep him up and not get hit as much. I think he's going to have a lot of space with the ball.
I think the Falcons' offense is pretty stacked, but I just worry about their defense.
Yeah.
So
Well, their
all right.
defense is not that bad either, though.
No, it's not
They're
terrible,
decent.
but it's probably middle of the road. I mean, last year it was pretty bad. That's why they did bad, but they could rebound.
Yeah, numbers wise, they had a bad. But on paper, though, looking at who they have, the talent wise, like Vic Beasley and all them, they have a really good defense. So I think they can bounce back.
They could definitely bounce
They played
back.
awful last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So the next game, so we disagreed there. You took the Falcons. I took the Cowboys. Next game, I think we disagreed again. I
got
took the
Bears.
Giants.
Oh, wow, interesting.
So I think the Giants are going to be vastly improved. I think
Really?
Daniel Jones is going to come into his own.
Okay.
I think Saquon Barkley, no matter what, is a transcendent talent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're going to win games. And I think that the Bears, their biggest question mark is Mitch Trubisky.
Right.
So which Mitch are you going to get?
But it's also look at that defense in the Bears.
The defense took a step back last year, so we'll see what
It's okay.
happens.
This is a new year.
I don't
It's
think
a new year.
I don't think the Bears are going to be bad, but I think that the Giants are going to win games.
They're
and that's
also
one I can
banged up
see them
last year
win.
too. The Bears defense.
Yeah, so
I
it's
do,
just one of those games.
Now that they're back healthy, on paper, it's one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Yeah,
You know?
like I said, I think the Bears are going to be like a middle of the road team because they have the Vikings and the Packers in the same division. So I think it's just one of those games where I know the Giants aren't going to go 0-16.
Yeah.
So that's one of those games I could see Saquon Barkley running wild on them. And, that's why I ended up picking them. So next game, I think we both have the Cardinals.
I can't wait to see who wins right.
Washington at
I
Cardinals.
say that. I can't wait.
Well, that's one of those games that I skipped over.
Yeah.
And I was just deciding. I could have went either way.
No, I know.
I really could have.
No. Yeah, that's the thing. It's sports, dude.
Yeah.
Nobody's right before it happens.
Exactly.
Nobody can yell at each other and say you're wrong and I'm right until after it happens.
Exactly.
That's it. It's sports, dude. Anything can happen.
I would not be at all surprised. I almost picked the Bears.
Yeah.
But I just went with the Giants. I had a feeling.
Cardinals in Washington. I got
I think
Cardinals.
we both have, Cardinals.
Yeah.
I think that Washington's probably going to be the worst team in the league, if not
Could
one
be.
of the worst.
They could
Them
be.
and the Jags are
They could
probably
be.
going to be fighting for the bottom.
Or Miami.
Miami's got the influx of new talent coming in with all those draft picks.
Yeah.
So they kind of replicated. They are like a year behind what the Raiders did. 3 first-round picks 1 year, 2 first-round picks the next year.
They also have the Bills and Patriots in their division.
Yeah. So
And the Jets are actually a pretty good team too.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Chiefs at Chargers. I think we both have the Chiefs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Ravens at Texans. I have the Ravens. I think you took them as well.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I was questioning, will the Texans be 0-2, especially in home? And I thought about it for a while, and then I said, yeah, the Ravens are going to win.
Yeah, it's one of those games where, like, if it wasn't the Ravens, I'd be like, oh, yeah, the Texans are going to bounce back.
Yeah.
But the Ravens and the Chiefs are the best teams in the AFC.
Yeah.
So it's tough to say they're going to rebound against a team as good as the Ravens.
It's a tough first 2 weeks for the Texans.
Yeah,
to play the
their
Chiefs.
schedule is rough.
This is where we disagree, though. Patriots and Seahawks. Now, I want to say this real quick. I honestly think the Patriots are going to start off this season at least 8-0, maybe 9-0. I think they're going to win their first whatever many game. I think they're going to be how every year there's that team that it's undefeated and you're wondering when they're going to get their first loss. That's the Patriots for me. I think this is going to be a team they're going to shock a lot of people with Cam Newton at quarterback.
So you think they're going to start out 8-0 and then they're going to fall off
here's
in the second half?
Here's my logic behind it. The Patriots had a great team last year. Great defense. What was their record? 10 or 11 wins? What was it?
I think they're 11-5.
11-5?
Yeah.
Tom Brady was their question. Tom Brady was bringing them back. Okay? That's my opinion. You might disagree.
No, he didn't play well last year.
He didn't play good at all.
Not.
Cam Newton now going on to that team. What's Bill Belichick's number one motto? Do your job. But what he also does behind the scenes is he gives people their job. He is a plan for Cam Newton, whose talent is undeniable. So I think that's going to be their upgrade as quarterback. I don't think it's going to be a downgrade. I think it's going to be an upgrade. So 11-5 team gets an upgrade at quarterback. Watch out.
Yeah, so I don't think anybody denies that Cam Newton is talented. Is he healthy? Is he going to stay healthy? His injuries have been his major issue.
Good point.
Also, the rest of the team, they had 3 high-end starters opt out of the season because of COVID.
Yeah,
So
I think the Patriots are going to win the division.
yeah,
I do.
I picked the Bills to win the AFC East as well, and I think it's going to be a super tight race. I
Yeah.
think they're both going to end up with 10 or 11 wins.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
So
going to
it's
be a
like,
tough.
it might be Bills with 11-5.
Well, that's why I
Patriots
said
10-6, or vice versa.
That's why I said
So-
that's why I said for the
Yeah.
Dolphins they're pretty much out going to be.
Oh yeah,
Because it's just going to balance out that way.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's not crazy to think that Cam's going to stay healthy and they're going to be really good.
Yeah.
So
But you're right. That's a good counter to me. Cam Newton, will he stay healthy? That's a good counter.
Yeah.
I think he will.
Yeah, if he does, he can make up for a lot of the losses because of the COVID opt-outs. Because
Yeah.
Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung,
Yeah.
Marcus Cannon. Those are
Right.
3 really good starters. 2 on defense, 1 on offense.
Yeah,
but,
no,
but if
that's
Cam stays
definitely true.
healthy, he can cover all that up.
Yeah. And they still
he's
have.
got that potential.
I know Patrick Chung's out of there, but they still have a really solid secondary.
Well, yeah, Stephon Gilmore.
Stephon
Yeah,
Gilmore.
absolutely.
They still have the 2 brothers.
Yeah,
They're still,
the McCourty brothers.
Yeah, so they're still going to be good.
Yeah, like I said, I picked the Bills when we did our predictions to win the AFC East, but I really think it's going to be a 1-game difference.
Right.
11-5,
outside of Marcus Cannon,
10-6.
though, outside of Marcus Cannon, though, their line's still pretty good too.
Yeah.
And now,
No,
if anything about the Patriots that you shouldn't be worried about is if they lose talent on defense, because Belichick is just a mastermind on defense. He can have
Oh, yeah.
anybody on defense,
Absolutely.
and he's still going to win.
Yeah. So I took the Seahawks.
Yeah.
You took the Patriots. Seahawks are at home. Seahawks play really well there. Even if they don't have fans or a lot of fans, they're just a really good home team. And Russell Wilson, I mean, the team is super talented. So that's going to be a great game. And that's actually the Sunday night game. So it's going to be a really, really good game.
Yeah.
That's one of the games that I paused on as well. I'm like, which one is it going to be?
Right.
That's a toss-up. I could have went either way.
But
Ended up picking the
Seattle is a great
Seahawks.
team, and
Yeah.
that's a good pick.
So, and then we have the Monday night game, the Saints at my Raiders. It's going to be Monday night, first game ever in the
Vegas.
brand new stadium in Vegas. The only bummer is no fans.
Right.
So my
At
heart.
least it gets to stay clean in that place. Like they're not gonna have a big mess everywhere.
Yeah,
and beer
exactly.
everywhere.
So yeah, I mean, it's gonna next year if there's fans allowed, which there probably will be. Then it'll be like it's still brand new.
Yeah, exactly.
So my heart wanted me to pick the Raiders, but my head picked the Saints.
Yeah.
Did you take the Saints as well? Yeah,
I did take the
figured.
Saints.
So I think
That's where I've been with the Patriots and Bills as the division win, like we were talking about. My heart wants the Bills to win the division. You know what I mean? But the Patriots, man, I just like the way they look on this with this new look Patriots. Like we haven't seen a different quarterback in a long time. Even when Matt Castle was playing,
So-
we still knew who the quarterback was.
yeah, I've been saying it since the whole offseason. I've been saying it since we started the sports show. I think the Saints are the best team in the NFC.
They could be the best team in the NFL.
I think they could be absolutely, and that they probably are. They're one of, if
I'm
not the
actually
best.
glad that we ended up on the Saints
Yeah.
and Raiders.
Yeah, so I just want to say one last thing on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the Raiders are going to be much improved this year. I think
For
they're
sure.
going to be super competitive. I don't think anyone's going to blow them out. I think they could win this game. And like I said, my heart told me to pick the Raiders, but I went with my head and picked the Saints.
Yeah, no,
So that's the last
gonna be a
game of
good
week
game.
2. It's
So
the
it's a
Monday
good
night
Monday
game.
night game.
That's a great Monday
a
night
great Monday
game,
night
especially
game.
with that brand new beautiful stadium.
Yeah.
And then that leads us into the Saints roster.
Saints roster. Yep. So let's start off with the offense, and we'll start right on the line. So let me take it off, or do you want?
Go ahead.
Okay. So they got plethora first round and second round picks on their line. Okay. On the right side, you got Ryan Ramczyk, Cesar Ruiz in the draft. At center, Eric McCoy, solid center, and then Andres Pete. And then at left tackle, Taron Armstead, who's been a solid force on that line for years, 7 years now. He's been great at keeping Drew Brees up.
Yep.
And then
They have a great offensive line. Only one rookie. They put him. Cesar Ruiz was more of a center in college, but they're moving him to guard because
Yeah.
they already have Eric McCoy,
Right.
which was a second round pick last year. He's
Yeah.
playing center. He did really well at center, so they're going to keep him there.
Centers are usually can turn into guards pretty
Yeah,
easily.
usually. So
Yeah.
that's what they're doing, but that's the only really question mark, and he's a first round pick. So, I mean, you know their offensive line is going to be pretty good. And then you go to, obviously, Drew Brees is their quarterback. You move into the receivers. Michael Thomas, best receiver in the league. I mean, broke the record for most receiving yards by a receiver ever
Yeah, it was
last year.
amazing. Now they added Emmanuel Sanders
Which
to
I
that
think,
mix.
I think that people are forgetting that, and
Yeah.
I think that is so important.
You know-
Michael Thomas broke the record at receiver last year with double coverage, triple coverage. Now, obviously, they're going to continue to bracket him. They're going to continue to put a safety over the top and double him, which is going to leave Emmanuel Sanders in a lot of one-on-one matchups.
Yeah.
I think he's going to feast on those matchups.
Yeah, no,
I think that was a really
you know
underrated
what else
pickup.
I like about that is that Traquan Smith is a great number 3.
Yeah.
He's got
Yep.
the size.
But
He's
before
a
that-
big body receiver who can draw a little bit of coverage off of. Like you got Sanders and Thomas being covered by whoever the best corners are, and then it might lead Smith for let him get some action.
Last year, though, they really had nobody behind Michael Thomas.
Nobody,
Now
yeah.
they have a good number 2 in Sanders.
Yes.
So I think that's really going to help their
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
And so I mean, they were already one of the best teams in the league last year,
Right.
and they've made improvements.
But we've seen
So-
We've seen Traquan Smith make plays already.
He's kind of like have a good game, disappear. Have a good game,
No,
disappear.
yeah, he's inconsistent,
So-
but we know he has the talent.
Absolutely.
He's showed it before.
But now he doesn't have to be a number 2.
No.
He can just settle into that number 3 wide
Yeah.
receiver role, where he probably fits best.
Yeah.
And Sanders is a rock solid number 2.
right,
So
Jared Cook though.
yeah, Jared Cook at tight
Jared
end.
Cook is always he's always open for a big game. You never know what's going to happen with him.
Yeah.
He has a lot of games where he doesn't do anything, but
Yeah.
when he does show up, he shows up.
Yeah, he was with my Raiders a couple years ago, and I really liked him. And I was a little upset when they let him go.
When he played for the Rams, he was showing freakish talent, dude.
He was real inconsistent with the Rams and
Yes,
Titans.
both of
But
them.
then when he went to the
that's been
Raiders,
his whole career. He
he
good
had
in the
2
Raiders.
great years with
Yeah,
the Raiders,
yeah.
and I was like, why are they letting him go? Now I know because Darren Waller,
Darren Waller.
is incredible.
Yeah.
But nobody really knew who Darren Waller was before last year, so it makes sense. They saw him in practice all the time. They saw how talented Waller was, so they're like, we need to let Cook go in free agency so we can give this kid a chance.
Yeah.
So and then you have your running backs. You have Alvin Kamara, stud. You have Latavius Murray
Goal line
behind
back,
him.
Latavius Murray, yep. And
Yep.
then they added Ty Montgomery as a nice little switch in.
Yeah, little
he's
like
a
change
trickster.
of pace back.
You can do
Yeah,
whatever. You could throw him in the slot. Because, I mean, okay, we were just talking about how outside of Sanders and Thomas, okay, Traquan Smith, whatever, you don't really know it. Behind that, there's really nothing. So Ty Montgomery, who actually used to be a receiver,
Yeah.
he's going to be that guy.
Yep. And
so
they
that's
even-
a nice little
they even
weapon.
Have him
that-
labeled as like running back / wide
yeah,
receiver.
that's a nice little
Yep.
weapon.
So
he's still number 88, which is a receiver number.
yeah. And
So
then they
you know-
have Mike Burton as fullback. So that's their blocking back. He's
Yeah,
he's
he's
more
just
of
a
just a
clear
hammer.
blocker, right.
Yeah, he's not one of those versatile fullbacks that catches a lot of passes and stuff.
You know what I noticed though, when he's out there in goal line situation with Murray behind him, they're getting plus yards.
Yeah, he's a beast.
They're plowing forward.
And then let's not forget about I do want to talk Taysom Hill.
Okay,
He's
great.
he's just a weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great special
Yep,
teams
yep,
player.
yep. Josh Hill, too.
He can play gadget quarterback. He can play running back. He can. I mean,
The Hills-
Taysom Hill is a weapon.
yeah.
So their
Taysom Hill
offense
is a weapon.
Their
Yep.
offense is really good.
And with Breeze getting older in age, you see a lot more Hill. And
Yeah.
when he's out there, you know what's going to happen. It's going to be some sort of cool trick play, and he's get it done with him, man.
yeah,
He's a good player.
I used to hate when they pulled Breeze off the field, but Taysom Hill just makes so many plays. How do you not?
Right, and then
You gotta give
it's
him-
also good for Breeze to get his little breathers
Yeah.
in and out.
You
know?
got to give him a package, though. I mean, when he keeps producing like he does, Taysom Hill, you got to give him a package of plays every week.
Yeah.
So their offense is one of the best in the league. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, but then the other side is
you go
just
to-
as good, dude.
Yeah.
This defense, man, the line, this defensive line is unbelievable. Okay, you got Jordan Cameron.
Cameron Jordan.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Cameron Jordan. All pro defensive line.
Yeah.
Marcus Davenport, Malcolm Brown from the New England Patriots at nose tackle, and then Sheldon Rankins.
Yeah.
All proven starters on that line.
Sheldon Rankins was hurt last year. So he's a stud defensive tackle.
He's back.
He's one of those pass rushing
He's
three
back, baby.
techniques. And Cameron Jordan is one of my favorite players. He's just an all around, not only is he a great player, but he's an awesome guy.
Right.
I mean, he does interviews. He goes on Good Morning Football all the time. You can just tell he's a really good dude. All the other players love him.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense gravitates around him. So yeah, he's awesome. So yeah, their defensive line stacked. Their offensive line is stacked.
Yeah.
And
Their weak spot, I would say, is linebacker, but it's not that weak.
Yeah.
Just compared to the rest of their team, that would have you had to pick one layer of the defense.
I
It's the
agree.
linebackers. Demario Davis is just unbelievable
Yeah, he's
talent.
good.
I think
Alex
he ran.
Anzalone.
I think he ran like a 4.5 in his 40 time. He's
yeah, he's
super
fast.
fast, dude.
Yeah.
Good tackler. Usually he plays middle linebacker for most of his career, but I guess he's listed as a weak side now. I mean, that's what happens with linebackers, especially in a 4-3. They move around a little bit. Alex Anzalone showed some talent. Outside of that, they're pretty weak. But they got Craig Robertson, who's a veteran player from Cleveland.
Yeah. And they got Caden Ellis listed as strong side linebacker.
Yeah.
But I really think that rookie Zach Bond from Wisconsin is going to take that job.
He might take that job, yeah.
Zach Bond was talked about as a first round pick, maybe
fell to the
second
third.
round. He actually fell to the third.
So that might
which
be
is a steal there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This
They
team
scooped him up.
knows what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
They picked him at the appropriate round.
Well, they got value there.
They
They're like,
got
how do you,
good value.
how do you not take this guy
And that
here?
was their weak spot. So
Yeah.
they might have filled that in.
Yeah. And then their
I got them in
secondary.
fantasy too. This defense.
Yeah, it's good
I
defense.
couldn't drop them. I had to pick up because their week one was it's a good matchup, a bad matchup for them. So I actually picked up
Eagles.
Philly's defense, which is super good. Normally I would never keep two defenses, but I had to keep this defense.
Yeah.
I couldn't let them go. I dropped Devin Uzigbo, who's on IR now.
Yeah, so the Saints defense is really good, and then especially because they play ahead a lot.
Yeah.
So then they can just rush the passer.
Well,
because the offense puts them ahead.
and their secondary keeps them ahead.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
when
the
teams
secondary's
are
good,
down
too.
by a lot, they have to pass against them. You got Marshawn Lattimore that took in the first round, 2017. That same year in the second round, Marcus Williams. They're both starters now. So in their first and second round in 2017, they got two starters out of that.
Oh,
What
yeah.
an amazing
Absolutely.
draft that
Yep.
year. Outside of that, though, Janoris Jenkins, Malcolm Jenkins, both really good starters.
Yeah, Malcolm Jenkins came back to New Orleans.
And then the 2010 first round pick, Patrick Robinson, who they just got from who comes in, and he's just a solid nickel corner. You cannot go wrong with that that set of corners.
Yeah.
DJ Swearinger, a backup safety to fill in when Jenkins and Williams needs a breather. This is a team, dude. If you're going 5 wide against this defense, if you're down by a lot, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
They have depth at cornerback and safety.
Yeah, that's why we're saying they're one of the best teams in the league, arguably the best team in the
Arguably
league.
the best team in the
because
league, yeah.
their offense, defense, special teams is all really, really good.
Yeah.
Even their special teams, which a lot of people don't focus on. But you have Will Lutz, one of the best kickers in the league, Thomas Morstead, rock solid punter. And then you have your long snapper, Zach Wood.
We didn't mention Deontay Harris because we were talking.
He's their returner.
That's their returner.
Well,
but,
special teams,
But
yeah.
it's a special returner. He's super fast.
Yeah,
and
they got him
when you
listed.
have a player like that as your number 5 option in the passing game, you're stacked.
Yeah. So they have him. Yeah, they have him listed, punt returner, kick returner, and then then, like I said, it's a really solid. They really like Deontay Harris. He's
Yeah.
super fast, and then they also have Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara listed behind him on special teams.
Yeah, that's a
so
good-
they will throw Kamara in there sometimes to do a return.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If they need a spark or something,
Especially because you got Murray who can play on the first down.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, this is one of those teams.
Very, very
where-
rarely do you see a kick returner come out and take the first snap on first down. But that's why Latavius Murray is great. That's going to be interesting to see that.
Yeah, this is one of those teams you look over, you're like, it's really hard to find a hole. Like it's like you don't really see it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We were trying to make a hole at linebacker, but it's really not.
Like if I look at this roster, the only hole I could possibly see is strong side linebacker, but rookie Zach Bond might fill that right in.
Right.
So they really might not have.
Yeah,
any
so there might
holes.
not be a hole. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
this is one of those teams
Super Bowl
that's
contender.
Definitely. The last 3 years, 3 years ago, Minneapolis Miracle,
Right.
Which is just a fluke play.
Right.
Marcus Williams.
Yep.
All he's got to do is make the tackle. He closes his eyes and misses Diggs. Diggs lands on the ground, like looks around. It's
Yeah,
like
that was
nobody's
so
here,
crazy.
and just runs all the way to the end
That
zone.
was so crazy.
Then the year after that, you have the no call,
Right.
which was the blatant pass interference.
Right.
They should have definitely won that game. That should have been called. They would have won. They would have probably went to the Super Bowl. Could have won the Super Bowl. Who knows? And then because of that blatant no call, after that year, they changed the rule so you can review pass interference.
Yep.
And then this past year in the playoffs,
Remember that happened with Des Bryant too? They changed the rule because
Yep.
Des Bryant.
And then this past year in the playoffs, they go into overtime with the Vikings, and you actually have the Vikings push off, the tight ends push it off in the end zone, catches the ball, and they don't overturn it. You
Right.
know, with the rule that
the
was
new
made
rule.
because of
Yeah.
them. So they just had a lot of bad
NFL
luck.
refs get a lot of bad.
They've had a lot of bad luck. I mean, just fluke things or blatant missed pass interference calls. And so they're one of those teams that, like, the last 3 years has been knocking on the door for another Super Bowl for Breeze.
Yeah.
And they just haven't been able to get there for one reason or another. Fluke play,
Yeah.
terrible call, whatever it may be. So this might be their year. And you know they're hungry.
Right.
After three years in a row of, these, fluke things,
Yeah.
terrible things, they're upset.
Yep.
They're angry. They're hungry.
Yep.
So they're just going to be one of those teams that's going to be like, wow, like
Yeah.
you look at them, they're going to be hard to beat.
They
so
always show up. If you go back farther, like 5-6 years ago, the Saints were always known as the best offense, amazing passing offense, and weak defense.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, the past 3-4 years, this
Yep.
solid defense.
yeah, prior to that, like you said, they would have to win a shootout every game.
Yeah, it was all shootouts.
There was that couple years
Saints
where
and
they
Giants.
would miss
Remember
the
that?
playoffs.
It was the score. Saints and Giants was 49-47. I think the final score was.
That was the only way they could win back
Crazy.
then. It was all,
Eli and
it was all on Drew Brees.
yeah,
Yeah.
Eli and Breeze are just going back and forth, just throwing touchdown to touchdown. It was
But
crazy.
imagine though, for years, for like 3 years, I think it was, you literally have to win every single game. You got to score 50 points every game. Or your
Right.
team's going to lose.
Right.
So I mean, those years they had real middle of the road records, and they
Yeah.
missed the playoffs for a couple of years.
Yep.
People talked about firing Sean Payton, which is insane.
Right.
He is such a good coach,
He's
such a good play
He's
caller.
a rally the troops coach.
That would have been a huge mistake if they would have fired Sean Payton after those couple of years because they had such a bad defense and missed the playoffs. That would have been
Now
a
their
big
defense
mistake.
is amazing.
Before Gruden came back to the Raiders, I was like, when that was all happening with the Saints. I'm like, I hope they fire him, and I hope the Raiders jump on him immediately.
Yeah.
And he would have been hired like that.
Yep.
I mean, there's no way. As soon if they would have fired Sean Payton, he would have been hired within a day.
Right.
I mean, so they were smart. They held on. They didn't make any rash decisions, and now look at them. Every year they're a Super Bowl contender.
And I'm looking at their injury list, and they're a healthy team. They're
super healthy.
Everyone that's not in or is on IR or COVID, they're players that they really don't need.
Yeah, no, they really have no major injuries, no major opt-outs. So, I mean, they couldn't be any healthier right now.
Right.
And they just paid Kamara. I don't know if you saw that. I saw it this morning. I think it actually happened this morning.
Yeah.
So now that was the one question. Like, is he going to hold out? Is he going to be unhappy? They paid him, so now he's happy.
Smart.
He's ready to play. He's not going. There's going to be no holdout. There's going to be no bad blood.
That's good.
So that was really the only question mark, and they took care of that.
That's good.
So you want to wrap it up
Let's
there?
wrap it up right there.
All right, guys. We'll see what happens. Football is back. God bless you, and God bless America. I love that thing.